Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Today I'm going to review the book, All the Light We Cannot See. This is a review of the book, All the Light We Cannot See. And you think, oh my gosh, this is boring. Hang on. This book has, as of the shooting of this video, 28,356 4.5-star reviews on Amazon. Now, I write books, and I work with publishing and all that. 28,000 reviews at 4.5 stars is insane! My best book, Antarctic Tears, has like 138 reviews, and that's actually pretty dang good. But by a factor of 20 larger, that just blows 20, it's like 25 larger. So this book, oops, I shut my phone off here because I listened to the audio edition. Let me show you the cover there. Wait for that to focus. Come on, camera. There we go. All the Light We Cannot See. This is a story about a French girl and a German boy in World War II. Now, I'd say, oh, that's been done, World War II, boy meets girl. Oh, no. This book is really written in the, it's highly well written, but it's an engaging story, and it's what's called a slow burn novel. You don't instantly get this dramatically in like a James Patterson in page 2 or 3. The building's already exploding, the guys are shooting, craziness is happening. Oh no. This follows along the more traditional route of the classics where you've got to get into that book probably 15+% before you finally figured out what's going on. Now, does that mean it's confusing? I didn't think so at all. But it has this feel of more of a classic novel of things are going to move along at a certain pace, following the story of Werner and, let me make sure I pronounce it right, Marie-Laure, and their journey from Germany and France and how they collided together in World War II. Now, this is not like the traditional classic book where you have a pretty linear story. All the Light We Cannot See breaks out from that norm in a couple of specific ways. One, it follows the classic modern norm of having 2 or 3 or 4 things, actually there are multiple things, all percolating together until they collide into this one dramatic cabal at the end of the book. The book definitely follows that particular formula. Are formulas bad? No, absolutely not. And it happened over such a long time that it was really difficult to see how these characters were all going to intersect. The evil guy looking for the jewel, the German boy with the skills, the blind girl. Oh, of course, we're going to have a blind girl and her father. There's some other dude, I can't remember. Yeah, just off the top of my head. And then they all have a very disparate world, and they begin swirling around. So, Werner, I'm not going to do any major spoilers here. Nothing you can't find in the back of the book. Werner is in a, okay, I wouldn't call it a hellhole, but he's basically destined for the coal mine. He's going to be a good German under Nazi Germany, and he's going to dig coal. The problem is he has a problem or difficulty in his life, and I'm not going to give that away, is he has a very special skill. He is so skilled, the German Nazi commanders, the National Socialist Party, Party, a couple of the officers found that he was so good at their skill that they took problems to this like 13 or 14-year-old kid to have him do his magic, and he fixed their problem and handed it back to him, and all of a sudden they're like, what the? Yeah, so this poor kid who was destined for the coal mine because where does he live but in an orphanage? That's not a giveaway. You immediately know that in the book, so don't worry about that. But you could see like, man, how is he going to get out of this Now coal mining is not a cursed life, but in the aspects of the story, to live under the mine, under the Nazis, yeah, you don't want to be there. Not good. But as an orphan with no family and no money to take care of you, guess what's going to happen? You're going to end up in the coal mine, baby, and you don't want to be there. His story begins marching along. Story number 2, Marie Laure, young blind girl whose father works at a museum in Paris. He's the key master and does all this and brings her into his world, and he begins helping her struggle through the challenges of blindness. But one of the interesting things is she didn't start her life off blind. So that adds an extra level of tension and I would say more believability to the story of she developed this problem. I won't give that away, but she ended up going blind. And like, woo, yeah, lots of good tension because, gosh, how many things go wrong when you're blind? A lot. So immediately you get this tension, but it's very low. And it's not so low where you fall asleep. But it's low enough we're like, all right, let's see how this is going. But the book is so well written by the author, and let me show you the screen again, Anthony Doerr, that it really keeps you going. The story doesn't just start to flame out and plod along and kind of go into the wreck. One of the things that I absolutely did not like about the book is the flashbacking and the time hops. The jumping way ahead, a flash forward, something happens and shoot, we pull back. Now, traditionally in authorship and what we do in publishing is, okay, flashbacks, use them if you have to use them. But flash forwards, oh man, the number one thread that you cannot break and screw up and mess up and get people lost on is time in your book. And because I was listening, I got a feel pretty quick, and maybe and looked in the print book, it's roughly the same. But do know that flash forwards are used in this book. So if you don't like that technique, you're probably not going to like this book. But I behoove you to at least give it the chance. See what it's like, because it's interesting. You actually get this secret vision of what the future is. And then you thrust back here and you're like, oh man, we're gonna crash into the wall. Yeah, so for this particular book, I would say it decently worked. It is a very high risk activity. Really, I would say just tear apart the chapters, put them in pretty linear order, let things converge into the big explosion, and roll with it. I would say let's dispense with that. Just to give you an idea, I had one author pitch me a book. He killed the main character, not in chapter 1, but in paragraph 1. Oh, thank the Lord, Anthony Doerr and the publisher did not allow the characters to die in chapter 1. Now, I'm not going to tell you if and when who dies, because it's war. Horribly, a lot of people are dying. But yeah, I mean, so that's crazy. So that time breaking a sequence, I didn't like. So if you can get past that, the writing and the styling, and then this extremely slow but rising tension builds, and you can see Werner's special ability, and the girl where she ends up with her father in this place escaping the Nazi invasion of Paris. You could see the collision like miles away, but it doesn't bother you because you're like, how are they going to get together? Oh, I can see the potential here of how this is going to work. Woo, cool. Now, let's take like a James Patterson, James Rollins, Michael Crichton, who else? Daniel Sylvia, David Rollins, all those guys. You can see all that percolating. David Rollins, I'm looking at my bookcase here, sorry. He doesn't really use that general collision thing. He keeps on one set of characters and punishes through. James Rollins usually does the multi-collision sort of structure, like Anthony Doerr did in this book, All the Light We Cannot See. But I think it works. It's not a rip-off technique. It actually plays out pretty well. So come to the end where the big bad guy does his final strike, and where are we going to be? And he's pretty sinister. Dora did a really good job of making some evil bad guys because you can see his motivation. He wasn't just straight evil. Straight evil characters kind of stink because they're so boring and predictable. Because what's the one thing they're going to do? Evil. You don't know what their motivation is, but Dora did an excellent job with the evil characters and showing like, well, they do have their motivations, they do have their inspirations, and something does drive them. So I have to commend Dora on that. He did an excellent job. So let me fire this up again. I highly recommend the book, whether you listen to the audiobook edition or the actual read the book. I'm blown away how many people have reviewed it on Amazon. And that many star reviews means it's probably a pretty good, solid read. So heading into the spring and summer season, if you want a World War II story that's kind of a coming of age, something that brings you along and gets you a good taste, because man, Dora does an excellent job of showing how the Nazis, the National Socialist Party, draws people in and how they got kids to become who they became. It's a word of warning. Just let me tell you that. The things that kids are taught now, and they're told what to think and how to do and not to do this and do that. Just a thought. Check it out. Very educational. I highly recommend All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. You can't go wrong with that bad boy. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer, motivational speaker, and an author. Yes! Please like and comment on my video. Subscribe to the channel below with that button just below the video here. Please support me on PayPal, Venmo, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.